What is going on, all you Pokemon collecting maniacs out there? This is Ryan, the PikaPikaPapa, and you all know how much I love this list every single month, right? Like, this is the top 10 cards that exchanged hands the most on TCG Player last month, and you know how excited I get whenever TCG Player will kind of pull back the curtain a little bit and show us what's going on their website, because when it comes to Pokemon buying and selling, besides eBay, there is no bigger platform than TCG Player. You know how much I love to keep my finger on the pulse of the hobby and then, you know, the macro level trends, and I think information like this does exactly that. So not only do we talk about the cards that are on the list, I'm going to show you the cards that were on the list last month and have fallen off. I also have this cool little star system right there. So the number of stars represents the number of months that a card has been on this list consecutively. So if it's on this list 3 months in a row, month number 4 it falls off, and month number 5 it's back on, you start at 0, there is no continuation. Then in the lower left you will always see the price chart for the sealed product that it comes from. So for like 151, that graph will represent the Elite Trainer box, and then for all the other cards that come from regular sets, that will represent the booster box price. And we have been doing this for over a year now, and there are lists that are more on the playing side of things. There are lists that are sometimes on the collecting side of things, but every single time it's really awesome. And I'm gonna tell you right now, this list is one of my favorite of all time. So if this kind of stuff, if this type of content gets you excited, hit that subscribe button. If you like what you see, give us a thumbs up. Questions or comments, drop them down below, and let's get into it right now. I always start off with what is off the list. Now, only 3 are off the list from last month, and the ones that remain are absolutely studs. I'm not gonna lie to you. I'm drawing the line in the sand, and I'm saying these 10 top demand cards, these are the best 10 we've seen since I've started doing this. And as I said, I've been doing it for over a year. So as you can tell, I'm really, really excited. Now we're finally saying goodbye to Alakazam from the 151 set. That card was on here for quite a while. And then both Iono cards fall off. Now remember, Paldean Fates has come out. There's a lot of Iono cards available in Paldean Fates, so it's not surprising to me to see these 2 fall off. I was a little bit sad to see the special illustration rare from Paldea Evolved fall off. I love that card so much. I thought that because the art is so, you know, just absolutely awesome. That's a big chase card from that set. I thought that one might be able to, you know, kind of withstand the onslaught of Ionos, but it couldn't. It dropped off, and we have that Melt Crate coming out with Iono in it, so it is just an Iono Palooza here. So I don't necessarily see these making it back anytime soon. Doesn't mean they're not great cards. Doesn't mean they're not great investments. Just means that right now they are not the most exchanged cards on TCG Player for last month. Now, starting off with number 10, the Moonbreon. I told you this list is fire. Like, imagine this. This is the number 10 card on the whole list, and you can see from the stars right there, it has been on here 4 months in a row. And you can also see, while your eyes are to the left, look at the booster box price. It is all the way up to $480. It has been on an absolute tear for the last couple months. I mean, that is just a 3-month price graph. So really for the last month and a half, it has just shot up from $430 all the way up to $480. I think the window of opportunity to buy Evolving Skies booster boxes sub 500 is rapidly closing. I have said it. I am putting it out into the ether. I'm telling you right now, I think this is going to be north of 500, well north of 500 by the end of this year. So not only do I talk about this card, but I also like to keep tabs on how many PSA 10s are out there in circulation. Not because I think it's a good thing or a bad thing. It's just a thing, right? And we're going to have another Moonbreon type card here in the Scarlet and Violet era. I don't know what it is. I certainly don't think it's come out yet, but we're going to have a big chase card. So I think understanding how this kind of, you know, legendary Sword and Shield card has performed in the PSA 10 population can give us some insight whenever that Scarlet and Violet card comes out. So one of the things that's really exciting to me is if you look, the PSA 10 population last month was 9,831, and now it is at 10,074. It only went up 243 month over month. I will tell you this, that is the smallest increase we have seen ever since we started charting this, and we've been charting this for 8 months here on the Moonbreon. So that is very exciting. Now, I don't know, I guess I will tell you this, I think a lot of people are leaving their Evolving Skies products sealed. So yes, there's going to be more that comes into circulation. Yes, there's going to be more PSA 10s, but it'll be interesting to see if that PSA 10 population growth month over month continues to get smaller and smaller. So something cool for us to keep an eye on as we continue to do this. Now, coming in at number 9 is the Giratina from Lost Origin. Just another crazy awesome card coming in at number 9. It just absolutely boggles my mind. Now, if you watched this video last month, we asked the question, had it hit bottom when it got to that 220-ish price point, $225? Now, we never know where the bottom is, but it was interesting. I have this theory that these round numbers sometimes just seem to be where the market finds support. and it sure looks like, at least for the moment, the market is very supportive of this card in that $220 to $225 mark, because look at it, and now it's all the way up to $230-ish right now, $240-ish dollars. So it has made a very, very strong climb. Again, it's been on here 3 months in a row. Look at the price graph on the left for the Lost Origin booster boxes. Booster boxes are starting to come up. We've seen Chilling Reign go out of stock and then pop. We've seen Fusion Strike go out of stock and then pop. And now will Lost Origin be the next one to go out of stock on the Pokemon Center and pop off? I don't know, but I tell you what, I am buying as many as I can right now because I know it's inevitable. And when it happens, Lost Origin's a banger set. Those booster boxes are going to absolutely pop off. Now, coming in at number 8, into 151, we have the Charmander right here. This is, I loved it. I was thinking, I'm like, this is the little engine that could, right? Look at the guy just sitting there staring up into the heavens. This card has just been an absolute mainstay on here 4 months in a row. Now, we haven't seen a lot of price growth, but again, think about how new 151 is. Like, I know it's been the top of our mind. It seems like for a year at this point, but it hasn't even been out that long. Now, this card has kind of pushed through the Pokemon pop and flop, right? Like, it went up, it came down a little bit, but it has really been steady Eddie. So it's going to be interesting to see if it starts to go through that Pokemon pop and flop cycle. Like, is it eventually going to go down? Is it just delayed? Or is it going to show a lot of strength here in the $30 range? It's going to be really interesting to see. And at least for the last 4 months, people have been all over this card. Now, coming in at number 7 is the Zapdos, another card 3 months in a row, 151, just showing a ton of strength on this list, but this one's performing a little bit differently, right? This one did go through a bit of the Pokemon pop and flop, then it started to flatten out, but now it's starting to come back down. I love Zapdos. I love the art on this card. I don't know if this is the beginning of kind of that stair step way down. We talk about Pokemon and really any investments, they never go in a linear fashion. They never go straight up and to the right, and they never go straight down and to the right. So this could begin that kind of stair step that we see in Pokemon cards a lot. We shall see. Pokemon 151 is hot. I don't think it's going to lose any investor interest anytime soon, but this card, we'll just have to see if it's able to retain its strength and stay on this list for the next couple months. Now, coming in at number 6, Roaring Moon. So excited, number 1, to see a new card on the list. Number 2, to see the chase card from Paradox Rift making the list. Like, that's exciting for me. When we talk about the Pokemon pop and flop, this is what we traditionally see, right? Way up right off the gate and then make its way steady down. Now, it has seen a lot of support at that 65 range, right? So it's sitting at $67 today. It'll be interesting to continue to monitor this card and see if it will be able to hold there, or again, if it's just in the middle of a stair step on the way down. It's been really flat for like the last week, 10 days, which is encouraging. So we'll have to see where it flattens out. And then look, you see the Paradox Rift booster box coming in at a market price of $93. I think that's an awesome price right there. Any of these Scarlet and Violet booster boxes in the $90 range, I think, are an absolute steal. Now, they're not going to double your money overnight, but I think in 3, 5, 10 years, when we look back at these booster boxes at $90, we're going to say, man, that was an absolute epic entry point. So, coming in at number 5 right here, another one. 5 months in a row. So this is the new king of the list. There's no card on this list that has been on here more consistently than the Charizard EX from Obsidian Flames. Now, I know there's all these nicknames, Obsidian Lames and all that, but it'll be interesting to see how these cards age over time. Remember, I talked earlier how we've done this so much. We've done so much data dives. We look at this all the time. Sometimes at these round numbers, these intervals, we will see cards start to see some market support. So as this card hits the $50 mark, I'm keeping a close eye on it. Will the market support it at 50, or is it going to break through that 50 barrier and start heading into the $45, $40 range? There's no way, shape, or form in my mind this ever gets down to 30. If it does get into the 40s, that might make PikaPikaPaPa a little excited. I don't like to buy singles cards until they get into like 18-month time frame, just because there's so much, of them to enter the market still in that time point and for it to flush out. But this would be really hard to pass up at $40. Now, I'm not saying it's going to get that low, but this is something we're going to keep an eye on and see if the market gives it any love at that $50 price point. Now, coming in at number 4, again, another 151 card, another newbie to this list, the Venusaur EX. I was particularly excited to see this because we just sent one of these out to PSA, but this is another one, right? Like, it has such a choppy, turbulent last 5 months. I mean, this thing has been up and down and up and down, and we're only talking about a couple dollar intervals. But again, just like we saw with that Zapdos early on, I feel like it's starting to work its way down. There is a ton of Pokemon 151 out there. I mean, there are UPCs all over the place. I still find ETBs in the wild. Like, I know that the collectors are out there with open arms trying to absorb all this product because the artwork is fire. It's just a great set. But there will reach a point, if it continues to become available, that these cards will just inevitably drop in price. Is that guaranteed to happen? I don't know, but this is just another one that's on my list where I'm saying, hey, is it starting to begin that downward cycle? They've been fighting the good fight for a long time, holding steady, but they can only fight for so long. So it's going to be interesting to see where these ones shake out over the next couple months. Now, here's another one, the Blastoise, same thing, same story, but I will say this. Listen, even if they start to come back down, which I anticipate they will, they got to come down at some point. I just don't know how they can stay so flat forever. It's just too modern of a set. There's too much of it out there. But I will say this, every single month that goes by, really every single week that goes by when these stay flat, that makes me feel better and better about the long-term prospects of this set. Now, you'd have to be crazy not to have strength or a lot of conviction in the long-term prospects of this set, but I mean that. Every week that goes by and they stay steady Eddie, it just tells me that there's so much investor interest right now that further down the road, that's going to be magnified by 5 or 10 times as people exit the hobby and new ones come in. Plus, this artwork is fire. Look at that Blastoise EX. It is just an awesome card. But again, unlike some of the ones we have seen, this is where we see the Pokemon pop and flop coming back down. It's starting to level off again at that round number, that $40 price point. You see it gets a lot of support, starts getting near 40, then it bounces up, starts to come back down and bounces up. Is 40 that magic number for this card? We will have to see what happens in the next couple months. Now, I get so excited whenever the base set Charizard is on the list. I mean, this is the OG of all OGs. This is the absolute GOAT. I mean, this is the chase card. And whenever the modern collectors love this card so much and are buying and selling so much of it that it comes in at number 2 on the top 10 list of cards that exchange hands the most at TCG Player, it makes me feel like the hobby is really strong. Not only that, but look at it. I mean, it is darn near 1-year highs. And we talk about how investments never go up in a straight line or down in a straight line. Obviously, it is stepping up, so it's not holding on to all of the gains of that 1-year high. It has come down a little bit, but it is holding on to some. It is way up from those July and November numbers right there. So I feel really, really good when I see this on here, not just because I love the card, not just because I think that everybody should have one of these in their collection if they want it, but because I think it represents the overall interest and strength in the hobby. So I get really pumped to see this one on the list. Now, the number 1 card, here it is, another 151 card, this Charizard EX, the big chase card, the big dog from 151. 5 of the 10 cards on this list has been from 151. This card has been back-to-back at number 1. Again, another card that went through the Pokemon pop, a little bit of a flop, but it has been dead steady at $115. This card comes up on all kinds of different lists that I keep track of, a lot of different data points, and it just seems to be really, really stuck at that 115 mark. Now, that is fine by me. I don't care if it goes any higher for the foreseeable future. What I'm keeping an eye on is if the additional product out there, if the additional pressure on this set causes it to come back down, no matter what. Long-term, an epic card from an epic set, and I just can't say enough good things about 151. I'm absolutely amazed about the price, fortitude that it's had, the fact that all these cards have been able to stay above that $30, $40 mark. This one's been able to stay at 115. I just think that's absolutely incredible, and again, when you're thinking about a long-term buy and hold, it is hard to do worse than 151. 151's absolutely going to be banging 5 years from now, guaranteed it. So, hey, listen, that's the list, and as I said, we do this every single month, so if that kind of stuff is what in your wheelhouse and what gets you excited, go ahead and hit that subscribe button. If you have questions or comments, drop them down below. And if you like what you see, give us a thumbs up. I appreciate you all more than I can possibly say. You all are the reason this channel exists, and I just get so excited whenever I read comments from you. It really does make me smile. So I appreciate you. Thank you for watching. I hope you all have an epic one, and I will talk to you soon. See you, everybody. Bye.